Hey everybody, welcome to my motel room here in Twentynine Palms. This is the next day after I had the problems with the Jeep overheating. I drove all over town this morning and was not able to find a shop that could take my Jeep and work on it. They're all booked well into next week with a lot of work. However, I did reach a mobile mechanic, and he's going to come out here. He had a cancellation this afternoon, and he's going to come out here and see what he can do to help me out. Meanwhile, since I had some idle time on my hands, I went out and went through the Jeep and managed to find my voltmeter, and it was actually in a pretty obvious spot. It was just right on top of all my other tools, but it wasn't in the bag I was looking for. And so I guess that's what confused me. It was not, it was in I had cut a sock off and stuck it on there, and I knew it was in the sock, but I wasn't looking for the sock. I was looking for the black Craftsman bag it was in. And so I was confused. I guess just the pressure of the moment. Yesterday, I don't know if I made it clear, but with Phil and Dan's help, we used a driving light, believe it or not, as a 12-volt DC test. But since I've got the mobile mechanic en route, I'm going to go ahead and go with that, and hopefully he can get me fixed up, and I can be on the road tomorrow morning first thing. Plan is to meet Matt and crew at Mengel Pass Junction with West Side Road at 10:30 tomorrow morning. It's about a 4-hour drive from here. So it should be no problem to meet them if we can get it fixed this afternoon. Wish me luck. Hey everyone, just a quick update on the progress on my Jeep. Seth from Hamar, honest and affordable mobile automotive repair, came out and troubleshot and determined that the fan motor is bad. So a new fan motor is on order and will be delivered tomorrow. So I should be getting out of here sometime tomorrow. It's going to be too late to join the crew into Death Valley. However, I'm going to go ahead and head home and kind of work on a slightly different idea, maybe to salvage some of the video and maybe get a little bit more video before I get home, to put together some sort of production. Basically, take the lemons and make lemonade. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. On Friday morning, I had a few hours to spare before Seth would arrive at 11 a.m. He would pick up the new fan, which had to be brought in from out of town, and which was why I was glad to have his assistance, and which was truly affordable, as his business name suggests. Meanwhile, I checked in with my friends on Facebook and learned that one who lived not too far from Twentynine Palms was visiting another, Alex, who lived in Las Vegas. And Alex asked if I'd like to join them this morning as they went off-roading at Red Rock Canyon. Of course, if I could make that, I could make my original Death Valley trip, but I appreciated the offer. Then there was Travis, who was supposed to also be on the Death Valley crew, but had business reasons to be at MORE, the Missouri Overlanding and Off-Road Expo, and was just returning from that. He wanted to know if I'd like to head up to his home near Grand Junction, Colorado, and take a drive with him through Colorado National Monument. Travis had worked as a ranger there before going into his own business, renting out overlanding rigs. That was indeed very tempting. Finally, there was Mike, with whom I'd run the Oklahoma section of the Trans-America Trail back during the height of the pandemic. He said if I was passing through Denver, I could count on spending the night at his house. Thus, my plan to salvage the trip was coming together. Work my way up toward I-70, still checking out back roads where feasible and time permitted, spending 2 nights in Grand Junction and 1 night in the Denver area. But making Grand Junction in 1 day was too ambitious for me. Instead, I figured I'd make it to St. George, Utah, assuming that the part arrived okay and that Seth was able to fix my Jeep. Okay, the air conditioner's running.
Fan's running.
Outstanding. The fan is fixed, and I have just departed the motel here in Twentynine Palms. So with luck, no further troubles this trip. Using Torque Pro to monitor the exact temp. The gauge on the dash doesn't really show very well what's going on. When we pulled the fan off, by the way, I should have shot some video of it. The entire armature of the fan was frozen into place. Even though the fan blade itself would spin, it was just spinning on the spindle that comes out of the armature. The armature itself was rusted into place. So I'm headed towards Amboy. It's a nice drive on 2-lane roads. In order to make a little bit better progress, kind of make a mix of some 2-lane road and some interstate travel. Try and get to Colorado Grand Junction by late tomorrow. And then that'll let me enjoy Colorado National Monument with Travis, who used to be a ranger there at the park. And so he's pretty familiar with all the secret best places. So it'll be kind of cool to have him as my guide. So this is called a foreign body, and I'm going to have to look up who created this. You know, sticking out a subtitle right down there at the bottom. Huh. Interesting. Interstate 40 up here, and of course I live just north of Interstate 40, and it'd be about 2 miles. Quite a distance to the right. We're not going to get onto that today. We're trying to get up to Colorado Grand Junction, which is up on I-70. There is Kelso Depot right there. Still are trains that travel this way. There's not one coming right now because they can be slow. So I'll go straight if I want to go to Baker, but instead I want to go to SEMA. So we're going to turn to the right. This is where Mojave Road crosses the highway. See, there's a lot of fire damage on the left. I remember when the news had reports of big fires in the Joshua Tree Forest around SEMA Dome, which we just passed. This is one big Joshua Tree Forest. Wow. Just figured I'd go out here just a little ways and see what this forest looks like. Even this little road provided some protection for the trees on the right. outside about 12:30. You can see a patch of something there on the hillside. I believe that's the town I Nip, which of course is for sale. You may recall that during the NVBDR we spent one night there. We had a really good time. 3 miles I'm going to join Interstate 15, so I'll be done with the 2-lane highway probably for today, unless I find a place to turn off and maybe camp. So you can see this solar power station from quite a distance. I've been seeing it actually for a little while now, and it's a good indication that you're near the town of Primm. Oh boy, look at all that traffic. My goodness. Something really cool back here that I want to go see it and maybe get a couple of pictures and share it with y'all. It was kind of neat. One of the things I like about the desert is just this nuttiness that comes about, and people put up various things, and this is just one of those things. Look at that, isn't that something? During the drive up to St. George, it occurred to me that my friend Eric lived in this area, or so I mistakenly thought. So I texted him and asked if he and his wife Mindy would like to meet me at Denny's for breakfast. That's when I learned that he had moved 300 miles away. Breakfast wasn't practical. However, he was aware of my predicament and asked if I would be traveling through Moab. With Easter Jeep Safari ending today, I didn't really want to do that. However, I'd be traveling through Green River on my way to Grand Junction. So we agreed to meet there at Tad's Tavern for lunch at 1 p.m. I would leave St. George the next hour to wander about a little bit, then meet him and Mindy promptly at 1. We'd have excellent meals and great conversation, even discussing a couple future overlanding adventures to run together. It was a great time. Then I left Green River, headed for Grand Junction. My trip with Travis was for the next day, but when I texted Travis that I was in town, he invited me to join him and his family at an Arts and Crafts Festival at Copper Club Brewery. The beer was delicious, and we discussed a couple future adventures together, beyond visiting the Colorado National Monument tomorrow morning, that is. Canyon, some interesting rock formations, see if maybe I can drive amongst them. We got a half hour to waste. Yeah, this is a numbered road 912. I'm not sure if that's a state highway or what. This is very reminiscent of Grand Staircase Escalante. discover when you just say, let's take that exit and see where it takes me. Oh my, look at this rock formation on the horizon. I'm just going to turn around up here so that I just see around the bend here. Pretty neat area. This was Easter Sunday, and I really appreciated that Travis's wife, Mackenzie, had released him and oldest daughter, Sunny, to guide me around the Colorado National Monument. A lot of bicyclists out here, aren't there?
Yeah, this is a super popular spot for mountain biking, so this is pretty common. You have to slow down and just wait to go around somebody.
Too nice a day to be in a hurry.
Oh, and it opened up. Yeah, Serpent's Trail is just above us there and follows that cliff edge back down to the switchback. It's a pretty cool hike walking along that ledge up there.
Oh, this is the long one too.
If you don't pay close attention, you could have a vehicle fall off to the right.
Yeah, I think in my time working here, I think there was at least 3 vehicles go off the edge.
Wow. Everybody survive, I hope?
Negative.
Cold Shivers Point.
Super cool view at night if you do a long exposure out here, because you've got that run of the road straight away from you out there down in the city.
Oh.
So you've got all the city lights, and if you get a little bit of moon, it gets Garfield in the background there.
Yeah, you can see the wash down there very clearly, huh?
Yeah, there's a hiking trail goes down here, the U Trail, that goes down the creek. There's somebody walking right there.
And then that bit of rock right there in the center of my screen is fallen rock.
Yeah.
So what do we see over here?
So across the canyon right there, that's called the Mummy Rock right there, a little sarcophagus-like formation. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can actually hike around there it's a super scary hike, and sort of traverse the wall to get up, and you can walk back behind it. It's kind of cool.
Oh, wow. I bet that is scary.
Well, if you say it's scary, it definitely must be. I can only imagine Mom on that hike.
She wouldn't make it.
No, definitely not.
She's going to hear this on the
Yeah,
video. I'm going to
right.
make sure I include it.
She'll totally own that for sure. I'm not going over there.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Echo! Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool.
Echo!
My voice is too high pitched.
Yeah, yours doesn't come back to it.
Echo! That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah, the wind wasn't blowing. Wow, that view to the right. My goodness. Wow.
This Independence Monument, which is probably the most famous formation in Colorado National Monument. Super cool. It's got a great climbing route up it that was put up by John Otto, who was one of the founders of the monument and did a lot of work to get this place to a well-visited spot. But John climbed it, and for his last little bit up this side of the formation, he drilled some holes, and he drove in pipe into those holes, and that's how he climbed up. So now when you go, the pipe's gone, but you still use your fingers in those same holes that he carved to be able to get to the summit. So once you get up there to the top, you have one little nice overhang to grab a hold of, and you can swing your feet loose and crawl up over that last little bit to the summit. And once you're up there, you've got this nice platform all to yourself, and it's a super cool place to just sit and hang out. Yeah, the rappel anchor right there where those guys are at is a big piece of pipe that's driven in. And every 4th of July they come out and put a flag up, so they climb it and put an American flag up there, and it stays up there for the week of 4th of July.
Okay.
Go back and get it at the end of the week. By far, I think the coolest formation in the monument